As Emmerdale's Ashley Thomas faces death, actor John Middleton says he is so proud of his dementia role. John says people have stopped him in the street to thank him for his realistic portrayal of the disease and says it has struck a chord because it affects so many people. After 20 years of playing lovable vicar Ashley Thomas on Emmerdale, actor John Middleton will finally say an emotional goodbye to the village for good this week. For 2 years, devastated fans have watched as Ashley has slowly succumbed to dementia, losing his memory and no longer recognizing his own wife and children. In tomorrow night's heartbreaking episode, Ashley's wife Laurel is told there is nothing more that can be done for her husband, and she decides to take him home to die. For John, 63, portraying Ashley's descent into dementia has been both the most challenging and proud moment of his acting career. John says, "People are stopping me in the streets saying thank you for doing this, and that is in many ways the best award. Particularly when you are talking to people who have got direct contact with this disease, who have lost loved ones to it, or who are caring for people with it, or people who have the disease. They say thank you for portraying it so accurately, so that makes me immensely proud." There is one letter in particular that has touched John and co-star Charlotte Bellamy, who plays Laurel. "What we portrayed mirrored exactly what happened with this lady and her husband," John explains. "She struggled with the guilt that was involved with putting him in a home. Then he formed a relationship with another woman in the home, even down to him giving away his wedding ring, which of course we did on Emmerdale. She said watching what we were portraying gave her some sort of light in her black hole and she thought, well, I'm not alone." It is very important for soaps to portray these stories. Not just the social awareness aspect. We have to tell stories that engage people. What you are essentially doing is reaching out a hand to people and saying you are not alone. It was more than 2 years ago when then producer Kate Oates, now boss at Coronation Street, pitched the story to John. "Kate told me this was going to be the biggest story they would run in the show over the next 2 years, so I felt honored and flattered. But she did warn me that this would mean in 2 years I would be leaving. I recognized it for what it is, the best story anyone had ever pitched to me in my career, never mind in my time in Emmerdale. I was delighted to take it on." At the beginning, John admits he knew little about dementia. "The only thing I knew was that it was something to do with memory loss. Of course it is about much, much more." He and Emmerdale's writers and researchers spent months talking to the Alzheimer's Society and Methodist Homes for the Aged. So impressed have the charities been with the portrayal of Ashley's disease they are now using the episode where the world was seen from Ashley's point of view as a training video. John says the reason the story has struck such a chord with the audience is that it affects so many people. There are 850,000 people in our country diagnosed with dementia. Each one of those people will have a carer, surrounding them will be a family, friends and acquaintances. By 2050 there will be about 2 million people diagnosed in the UK. It is becoming the biggest health issue we will face in the Western world. It has to be addressed. John's final scenes as Ashley will go out on Friday, and he admits they were emotional to film, never mind watch. "They were very nice for me to do as I was lying in bed and at one point I started snoring," he laughs. "They were beautifully written and they weren't mawkish. People were being upbeat. You could see Laurel was getting a lot of strength from the fact people weren't being too sentimental or betraying their emotions too much. They were lovely scenes to do. My very final scene was emotional. We had done some rehearsal and people were all in tears. You could have heard a pin drop on the studio floor, and there was an immense amount of sensitivity and care. They wanted to get this right. That I found in itself very moving, let alone the thing being portrayed." John is leaving with fantastic memories, particularly Ashley's disastrous love life and the leading ladies he has been paired with, including Charlotte Bellamy, Sam Giles, and Emily Simmons. He admits the fact that he is moving on after 20 years still hasn't registered. "Eventually it is going to hit me. It will be like running into a brick wall," he says. It is half my career and there is not a second of it I haven't loved, and I've made so many great friends. It is the most significant thing that has happened in my professional life, and it is up there with getting married and having children. At the moment my wife is the breadwinner and I am on the Emmerdale. I am rediscovering my domestic life, cooking and things. John dismissed rumors he has been signed to star in a new ITV drama. Although he is hankering after a role that is completely different. I have had a couple of very good conversations with people of great influence within the company. They are the admirals of various flotillas but I need one of their captains to sign me on, he laughs. My dream role would be the eponymous hero of a long-running series but I think I'm too old for that. It would be a good to play someone who is totally bad after spending 20 years playing someone who is intrinsically good.